Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. This is going to be kind of a little bit of a personal kind of thing. This is, let's see, well, it's been 4 years and a month since I lost my wife, or my wife was taken away, but anyway. I was just thinking, it's a beautiful, beautiful day today, so I lit up a cigar. And whenever I have a cigar, it really slows me down. I'm hyper. I'm doing things. I'm really going. When I get a cigar going, I just sit back and relax. And really, that's the time I give thanks. I mentioned it before. I think my God smokes a cigar also. So, smoking a cigar is a little different than other things. And but anyway, to me, it's peaceful. It gives me a time to relax. And it's been a little hard on me. Being by myself, and let me see if I can make this thing work here some way or another. And it's funny because when you think back at the past, you think about all the good stuff. And I was just thinking, the last 5 years of my wife's life, she started having strokes, and I mentioned it, on medication, and medication gave her 2 strokes, and after the last one, I said no more, and that's when she was totally paralyzed, and I took over her care. No more doctors. And before that, we had an understanding. She takes care of herself, I take care of myself. Because I do natural and she did doctors, so we just kind of left each other alone. But the last 3 years is when she was, like I say, the second stroke, she was totally paralyzed. And that's where I really started learning a lot on my natural work and stuff like that, but I brought her back so she wasn't paralyzed anymore. And she could talk, she could think, she could do everything. She was just thinking a little bit slow. But like I said, I got fond memories, and what it was taking care of her. Because she took good care of me all the time. And seeing we were opposites, we kind of left each other alone, but like I say, she always made sure I was taken care of anyway. And but one of the things was, after her last stroke, the last 3 years, she had seizures. And I got a blog. I'll see if I can get that blog and tell you that I made tinctures. I whipped up my own stuff and gave her, and she was getting like a seizure a week, something like that, well, maybe not quite that much, maybe 3 a month. And I eventually got her so she was good for about 3 months. She'd have 1 seizure every 3 months. And what it was, the reason I'm talking about this is, I'm thinking back, and I had no problems taking care of her. Our culture, now I figure out, our culture is we care for one another. We take care, not just care, but take care of one another. And our parents, and the kids. I mean, it's a family thing. We really do take care of each other. So, and I don't have any bad thoughts about caring for her. But then I am thinking, what was going on at that time. And I say we moved back down here because the United States government thought that she should still have her medication, and when I refused to give it to her, then they said they're going to take her away from me, and that's why we came down here. And I say, seeing she had seizures, and it scared her, of course, like I say, her brain wasn't quite right, so I had to really watch over her and make sure things didn't scare her, because she was easily scared. And so she really didn't travel. We didn't travel much. The only time that we traveled, at that time I used to fly. And the reason I'd fly is because it was easier on her. So we would fly back to the States. And, but anyway, it was just, other than that, we'd be here. We'd stay here at the hotel. And so, I say, so this would have been in 09, clear up until I say 2012. And so all that time, I pretty much stayed. The only time that I wasn't with her is when we went to the States, and then she could see the kids and see the family and stuff like that. Other than that, I would stay with her all the time when we were down here. I mean, I always stayed right here on the property. And the thing is, her seizures, she could feel her seizures coming. And when they're coming, it usually gives her 2 or 3 minutes, and then she'll know that it's coming. And then she would call me or get on the phone and call the hotel, and they'd get a hold of me, and I'd run over here, or wherever she was at, I'd run to her. She's always here on the property. And then I'd have her lay down wherever we're at. I'd have her lay down. Well, when she knows she's having a seizure, all she does is gets a hold of me, and that's it. She doesn't go nowhere, doesn't do anything. She stays right there until I get there. And then I get there, and then I'll lay her down. So if we're out here, I'd lay her down here on the sidewalk. Wherever it was, I'd lay her down, and I'd stay with her. And her seizures would normally only last about, maybe 5 to 15 minutes at the maximum. And but then after the seizures, then she'd just lay there. And normally it'd be about an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half. Then she would start, she would be aware of what's going on. She really didn't pass out, but like I say, you could see she wasn't all there. But then, I say after about an hour and 15 minutes, she would start being aware, and I'd just have her lay there and relax. And she smoked, by the way. That was one of the things that really hurt. But not cigars, cigarettes. And after, I'd stay with her, let her get going, and after she's doing good, then I'd give her some water. And it was no big deal. It was just part of caring for someone. And, to me, it was no big deal. And I've noticed it with older people, because sometimes there'd be older people around, and, so, everybody would want to help out. I mean, the same thing. I mean, young'uns, I don't know. But I know when the older people, when somebody gets sick, you will see the older people don't mind staying there and being around them, and letting them feel good whenever they're feeling bad, stuff like that. So, but ones I did find out is the younger ones. Now I'm talking about when the little kids, they didn't care. But I'm talking, maybe 20s and 30s, maybe 40s. They didn't like being around her when she had her seizures. And I don't know if it scared them or what. And I'm not sure if it was because of my Vietnam experience that anything can happen to anybody. It's no big deal to me. I mean, you want to help people. I mean, I want to help them. I don't care. A car accident, like I say, I came just seconds after a head-on car collision in the United States, and a woman was in the passenger seat, and the top of her skull was the skin was pulled back, and part of her skull was knocked out. You can see her brain and stuff. And I climbed in the back of the seat, and I put a towel. Like, you can't see it, but I got a towel here. Put a towel on her and wetted it down and put that on her. And I waited. We couldn't get the car door open, nothing. We waited for the first responders to come with the jaws of life to open it up, stuff like that. But, I mean, it's no big deal. And like I say, it's just, and I don't know if it was just because of my Vietnam experience or it takes a certain kind of person or what. But I think it's odd. Even my dad, my dad had a stroke. And he was totally paralyzed. And I'd pick him up, put him in the wheelchair, and I'd take him fishing, and I mean, we'd go play, we'd do things, and and everybody gave me hell. You're not supposed to. Those days, this was back in the 70s. In those days, we were supposed to let them rest. And for me, I don't believe in that stuff. I didn't work on my dad, and I didn't let him do it on my wife. I say, I gave her a little over a week for the brain to swelling to come down, and then after that, I mean, we were full blast. And even when her brain was swollen, I still had her do bed exercises, like I've shown you my bed exercises. I made her get out of bed to go to the bathroom. But when she was in the hospital, I was with her the whole time also. So caring for somebody, I don't think it's a big deal, but I think the younger people have a problem with it. I'm sure not all of them, and that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm making the video, trying to figure all this stuff out. Now I'm thinking about it. But it's funny because when I was here at the hotel, yes, I didn't leave here, but I wrote 5 books when I was here. Seeing I couldn't go anywhere, that's what I did. And like I say, at that time, I was just learning how to use the computer, and my wife told me, because she knew I was, I'm hyper, I'm ready to do things. And so that's when you see my videos. My first videos were in '09. And that's what she told me. She started making videos. So I had to learn how the computer worked and how the internet worked and all that kind of stuff. And then I had to, like I say, figure out how YouTube worked and all that stuff. And then she told me to start writing and tell people what I do. But up to that time, I didn't think my wife even cared. I mean, I trained SWAT teams, travel companion. I traveled all over. I do stuff. She'd just sit at home, and when I come back, I'd say she'd patch me up because I get beat up and all this kind of stuff all the time. And then, like I say, she'd mend me and get me back going. No big deal. And so I didn't think she really even cared. But then after the stroke, and like I say, we were here, she told me to start writing and tell people what it is you do. And so that's when I finally realized, maybe I do something odd. So, But I was just thinking that at that time I stayed here on this property this whole time. I went from traveling all over all the time. Before that, I was on my motorcycle going to Panama. And I was going everywhere, up to Canada. I went everywhere with a dog, with Xena on my motorcycle. We went all over. And to do all that and then stop and stay within 2 or 3 minutes of my wife for over 3 years, and I had no problem with it at all. But then again, here we got it a whole lot easier. When she first had the stroke, it was tough. I had to do the laundry, I had to cook, I had to take care of her and all this stuff. It was a little tough there, but I've never done it before. And then, like I say, when we finally came down here, I think it was about 6 months after she got stroke, we came down here. Then I was able to, at that time, I could get her, I have her walking, I had her, she could think, she could move around, she could, I could go into the store and leave her in the car and stuff like that. So, but then here, and that's why I've even made arrangements now for me to come back here if I ever get all sickly and nasty, because here, like I say, we got servants, we got somebody to do the laundry, we got somebody to cook, we got all this kind of stuff. So it's really really a good life, and that's why I make so many videos, and you see the project I'm working on all the time. And when I'm here, I still go back to the States, and then while I'm here, I'm preparing to go back to the States again. I do whatever I need to do. I work on projects and stuff like that. But it's kind of strange. Now that's what it is. I'm thinking about how much I miss my wife, and I was thinking, man, even at that time, as hard as it was on me, I still miss her, because taking care of someone you love, it's not hard. And like I say, I didn't get a chance to, my mom and dad, my dad just a little bit, I got to take care of him. Lost my mom when I was 5, so, I didn't get a chance to really help out that much. And maybe that's why I do so much helping now. That's all I do is help people now. So, but anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you, and just any younger people watching this, don't be scared. Like I say, if she had the seizures, nothing to be scared of. People get sick. People have all kinds of problems. It's no big deal. If you can help them, you can help them. It's no big deal. Anyway, this Mike, NoStressMike.com.